The blub. The
Blew
blub
out.
is blown out. We're trying to get better lighting on me. Because, ew, Stewie. You shot me. There's little Griffey. I'm circling him with my mouse. You cannot see it, but there he's back there. So, couple of weekends ago, we decided to take a little day trip, and we went to this little town. It was just of my choosing, just to go someplace and do something and scout around and take some pictures. And the small towns are rather interesting sometimes. So, what is Griffey looking at?
Oh, who knows? Oh, he's looking at the fan that was spinning.
Oh.
That they cleaned. It looks a lot better.
Good for you.
No, it's clean.
Good for you. Thank you for cleaning the fan. I usually do that. Did you use the proper tool?
Sure.
The one that's like, it goes over the blade?
No, it doesn't work.
It works beautifully. I use it all the time.
Not when it's caked on there.
Oh, yes, it does.
Well, not anymore.
It comes falling down.
I took a paper towel.
Old-fashioned. But anyway, went to this little town, Huntsville, Arkansas, just to look around. I like it. It's a neat little town. And we had a good time. And one of the things that I wanted to stop and take a picture of was this hotel, this old motel, actually. An old motel from the 50s, from the looks of the sign. What are you staring at me for? What are you staring at me for?
Popping pills.
Okay.
Popping prescription pills that make them crazy.
No, they make you uncrazy. That's the wonderful, beautiful thing about them. Anyway, so there's this motel, and it was a neat old motel, and it had this great sign out front. And it was a very cloudy, overcast day, and pretty much every photo I took looks blah because the lighting was just so poor. But I still wanted a picture of the sign. I'll probably put a picture in right here of someone else's taking so you can see how good it looks. It looks like my head has sprouted an arm. But put them on either side of my head. Like. Yeah, it's kooky. Let's see. Sci-fi music.
It's Angry Birds.
Oh.
Seasons.
So anyway, I came home and was thinking about the hotel or motel and how neat and cute it is. And I wondered if I could find some history on it. On the internets. And so I started looking around. I didn't find much. They do have a website, which is just like something out of the 90s. It is not very slick. And I got to see the inside of it. I thought about actually booking a room for the night so I could see the inside of it, but don't bother. It's pretty dumpy. But what I did find was on TripAdvisor, I did find some reviews, and I thought that I would share them because I thought they were amusing. There's quite a few of them here, but each one of them is beautiful. I hope that you will stick with me and listen to it. The first one, the title is Creepy, Not an American's Way of Life, from Casey Miss from California and Missouri. This is from just this last May. I am so thankful my husband and I are not the only people that found this motel strange. We had been on our motorcycle for 10 hours and, oh God, ding, and came across what we thought to be a quaint, quiet little motel. Wrong! Our first indication should have been when the owner asked me several questions before he sold me a room. Number 1, the man standing by the motorcycle, was he my husband? Number 2, do we drink? Number 3, do we smoke? Number 4, proceeded to tell me that he was not a fan of the government or our president. My first impression of this man, he looked like a serial killer. Once I got a room key, we unloaded our bike, personal belongings, camera, and clothes. The AC was not on, and the room was extremely stuffy and hot. We turned on the AC, a couple of lights, and the TV. We decided to go to the local Pizza Hut next door for dinner. When we pulled into the parking lot of the motel at 9 p.m., he was staring out the window at us. Creeped both me and my husband a little. We walked into the room, the lights and TV turned off, and our stuff rearranged. We were scared out of our wits, in all caps. I had this gut feeling that we needed to leave as soon as possible. At 9:15 p.m., our bike was loaded, and we were out of there and headed north to Eureka Springs. I have never, ever in my entire life been so scared to stay at a motel in a small town or a huge city as I was at the Faubus Motel. Next one. Vacancy light on, sign on door, no check-ins tonight. I called to see why this is, doesn't matter who they are. Somebody from Oklahoma. I called to see why no check-ins if the vacancy light was on. So the sign on the door said no check-ins, but the vacancy light was on. The proprietor stood at the window and looked at me while talking on the phone, said we could rent, but would have to leave by 9 o'clock the next morning. They had a, quote, a big meeting to go to tomorrow. I told him fine, we would go elsewhere. Why didn't he just turn off the vacancy light? This hotel was our only option in this town, even though reviews were not kind. The other hotel in town was not an option after reading reviews and seeing the place. I can't even think of what that place would be. I don't remember seeing another hotel. Anyway, this could be an absolutely charming place if it was ran as a professional family business. The city of Springdale received my tax dollars. Too bad for Huntsville. The next one. Extremely rude, outrageous rules, called the cops, refused to refund CC credit card. Someone from Texas. I was in town looking at real estate. Checked in. First clue is the rudeness at check-in. Grabbed a shower in and out of dated bathroom that had yellow water first few minutes. Waited for a landowner to meet me to discuss terms of a deal at the Pizza Hut next door. Was at the Pizza Hut eating when my phone rang, and the old fart from Deliverance and overalls, the owner, I assume, asked me if anyone was with me. I said yes. After I got over the shock of him calling me, then he proceeded to tell me that no one was allowed on the property and that I needed to be in my room by 10 o'clock. I finished eating, went back to the office, explained that I was a big boy and I could visit whomever I wanted and go to my room whenever I wanted. He then said he was going to call the cops. I said, fine, I'll wait outside. He called, they came. Seems it's a regular deal. I requested a refund. He refused. I left, went to Springdale, called my credit card company and canceled the charges. Do not stay here. Next one. Not suitable for Americans. Someone from, doesn't say, a solo traveler. I was staying at the hotel while visiting friends. I happened to be at the hotel the day of the 2008 election. The next day I woke up to see a Confederate flag flying outside the motel. I was told the flag was a protest because Obama is, quote, not our president. Regardless of who you support, I found this to be an extremely racist and disturbing act, and I will not be staying at this hotel ever again. Besides the flag issue, the rooms were messy and the AC was broken. Not recommended. And I've read a few little articles here and there. Obviously, this guy catches a lot of flack for his Confederate flag flying that he does. Which is on his website. That's true. You scroll down to the bottom. I'll try to remember to put a link to the website. He has Confederate flag little icon on his website. Okay, the next one. The rudest place in Arkansas. Someone from Oklahoma says, we're driving to Branson, Missouri for a family vacation. I have an 8-month-old baby and an 8-year-old son. My 8-year-old son had been in a nighttime auto accident a few weeks before.
What does that even mean?
I think she's trying to say that he's traumatized by being in a car at night. Maybe he peed. No.
Yeah, auto accident.
No. Shush you. He had begged to still go to Branson, so we kept our plans. About 10 p.m., he got nervous and asked for us to stop for the night. We were near Huntsville, so we pulled in looking for a place. The first place was rude and told us they were booked. The Faubus place had a note on the door stating their prices, which were high, and saying, if you don't like it, don't ring. When the old man answered the door, I asked if he had a room with 2 beds. He said yes, but not for smokers. My husband was standing outside the truck smoking. I told the man he would not smoke in the room and that I had 2 kids and just wanted to go to sleep. He told me, too bad. When I turned around and told my husband over the truck running, the innkeeper told us he had people sleeping and to leave before he called the cops. The cops in that town must love him. Next page. The title is, Are There Cameras in This Motel? Looks like it's maybe somebody from Huntsville. I don't know why somebody from, who knows. I decided to move to Huntsville. I guess that's why they're from Huntsville. They moved there. and booked a room here to have a place to stay while I searched for property and a house. I checked in on Friday night, left the do not disturb sign on my door because I wanted no one in my room, and turned on the AC as it was stuffy and hot in the room. I went to my girlfriend's home and stayed there for a while. When I got back to the motel, the sign was gone, their do not disturb sign. The AC was turned off, and the owner had put a space heater in my room and left it going. The next morning, I put the do not disturb sign out again, turned on the AC, and went to get the room for another night. In the office, he commented on how late I was out the night before and asked me where I had been. Later that morning, my girlfriend met me at the motel, and we went to view property together. We got back to the motel about 5 p.m. That evening, very tired, and went in. This is like all one running paragraph. It's making me feel cross-eyed. Went in to talk over what we had seen that day. As we sat there, I leaned over and kissed her, and then leaned in and kissed her again. Not 2 seconds later, the phone rang, and the owner said, "We will have none of that in here." Those are his exact words. He then proceeded to tell me that my girlfriend needed to leave or he would call the cops and have her thrown out. His reason was that I had rented the room for a single person. I told him she would not be spending the night and was only there briefly until we went to dinner. He insisted, and I hung up on him. I then began searching the room for cameras or something that would explain why he called that very moment that he did, and why he made the statement he did. After I lifted about the third picture or mirror, the phone rang again. My girlfriend answered it, and he asked her if this was 116. She answered that it was, and he told her that she needed to get in her car and leave immediately. She questioned him on it, and he told her to leave or he'd call the cops and have her thrown out. She hung up on him. About 10 minutes later, a police officer knocked on my door, and I invited him in, and we explained everything to him. He agreed that the owner could not make her leave and said he would have a talk with him. The owner left us alone after that. About 30 minutes later, after putting the sign on the door again and turning on the AC, we went to dinner. That night when I got back to my room, the sign was still there, but the AC was off and the door left unlocked. I found this man to be extremely rude and very nosy. He's kind of crazy, it sounds like. He asked questions he had no right to ask and entered my room even though he knew that he was not wanted. How embarrassing it was to have to speak to the police and deal with that kind of mess because I chose to stop at a motel room to rest and clean up before I went to dinner. Kooky. There's one more. Titled, "Do Not Stay Here." Someone from Little Rock, Arkansas. My family has an 80-year-old friendship with the Faubus family who no longer is associated with this motel. The current owner needs to remove the Faubus name and the picture of the late Governor Faubus from the office. The rooms are marginally clean. The owner is extremely rude, leaving nasty notes in the room, telling us what not to touch. The checkout time is 10 a.m., which created a huge hardship for my family that was there for a funeral. The owner refused to make any concessions, even though we had checked in at 9 p.m. the night before. When asked why the checkout was so early, the owner told me it was because, quote, "We don't have south of the border people to clean their rooms. We do it ourselves. We will never stay at this motel again."
Thank you for calling the Faubus Motel. If you know your party's room number, dial that extension now. If you want the front desk, dial 0. Please hold while I try that extension. How may I help you?
Hi, how you doing? I was wondering if you have any vacancies tonight.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and how much is it for a room for a single?
Be for you and
It's just for me.
you finished out.
Yeah, it's just me by myself.
Smoke inside or out?
I don't smoke.
Smoke. Hey, what time you be coming in?
I'd say probably around, I don't know, 8 o'clock this evening.
Maybe 55 plus tax.
Okay, and what time is checkout?
10 in the morning.
10 in the morning. Is it possible to get a late checkout? Maybe like 10:30 or 11?
That's your state pass checkout time.
Wow. There's no way to waive that or anything like that?
No way to waive it?
Right.
No.
Okay. Do you have, I'm sorry, not air conditioning, I don't need that. Do you have a heater in there as well as television?
Yes, we have heat.
Okay. Alright. Is there any, and that's pretty much all I need to know. If I might have some people over, but that would probably be it. They wouldn't be spending the night, though.
People.
Yes, people.
Like for the ball game.
Right. Things like that.
Our property is alcohol free. We don't have any alcohol on the property.
No alcohol at all?
None at all.
Okay.
You probably need to go somewhere else.
Okay. Well, if there is no alcohol, is it alright if I have a few friends over?
Only guy friends, no gals.
No gals. I mean, they're gonna bring their girlfriends, but...
Go somewhere else, okay?
Well, I mean, what's the problem? Hello? Hello? I still need to rent a room.
No, they don't really want
How
this,
hateful.
do they?
No! I don't want no women! Unless they're gonna be cleaning. My God.
And that's it. I just thought I'd share that. I thought it was quite amusing. Bye.